Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to an interview that we're going to do with Creator. And basically, I would like to welcome everybody to another session of bringing great founders, great projects for everybody to understand what it takes to build in the Web3. And in that sense, I would really like to welcome Daniel from Creator. Hey, how are you, man? Long time. How's everything, Daniel? You're mute.
Did it? You guys hear me now?
Perfect.
Sorry. I think I might
Yeah.
might have double clicked the button. I'm so excited. So anyway,
Nice.
great to be here. Great to be in front of everybody. I'm so excited. Looking forward to doing this show with you. So thank you.
Thank you for that. So, let's start by the introduction so everybody know who you are, what your project is, and then we can go straight into talking about the space and how we met. Obviously, we have a very nice story actually.
Yes, I think so. All right, so my name's Dan, and I've been in this space for oh my god, feels like forever. Like crypto years are dog years, right? I think 5, 6, maybe 6 plus, and been on a little bit of everything. I do a little bit of trading, etc. But really fell in love with the pre-sale space and got into launch pads a few years ago. And I've got my own little investment group that I do launchpad investments. And I started working on a few different projects for that space. One called Cryptool that is going to be coming out. And then I walked away to do an OTC platform. And I was sitting at a little local meetup we have here in Phuket, Thailand. And Mark, one of the two founders of Curator, was talking. And I felt like, I don't know if you've had one of these moments, but where it's almost like the guys in your head reading your dreams, saying all of the things that you were thinking, etc. And I knew right on the spot I needed to get involved with this project. And so I just started a relationship with Mark and AJ, the other founder, and said, "Hey guys, let me prove myself to you as your ambassador. I'm going to get out there. I like to say, Mark is the gospel, and I just spread the word. So I get out there, I spread the word, talk to the community, help where I can. And over the last year and a half, I think I've proven myself and my value. And they asked me to be a full partner. So there's 3 of us leading the ship, and I couldn't be happier to be
Amazing.
on board with this amazing project. So that's my little quick background.
Amazing. So, 1 to 3 minute pitch of Curator. How is that? So people get into knowledge of why are you so excited to tell everybody what
All
what
right,
is
cool. Let me share my screen here. And so I'm doing it for the first time on this, but it looks pretty straightforward. And it's funny because Mark is actually pitching in a little pitch contest right now, and he just had 3 minutes. And I was telling him, slow down, don't rattle off too quick. But anyway, okay. Curator is a crypto research community. We're a place for basically sharing reviews and information, and also verifying information that gets shared by others. That's a very important part. Um, you can discover projects early. Obviously, we had Bricken way early through our lens. Hopefully, what you'll call spot on analysis. I think when they hear our story, they're going to laugh a little bit. And then just key news and project updates. One of our analysts is heavily involved in your project, Jerome, and he likes to keep the community on our side informed with what's going on with Bricken. And we're powered. What's different about us, we're powered by a decentralized network of analysts and curators and moderators. So you can buy me. You can take me out to lunch, Edwin, and say, great review, but you're not going to buy the other 69 people. And it's kind of, I like to say it's the voice and wisdom of the crowd. And one of the real exciting things about us is we used to just be analysts. So we had all the power was in one group, just the analysts. They would write, and then the other analysts would like peer review. We'd upvote. We have very, very, very excited. July 1st, I think, if I can hold AJ's feet to the fire on this, will be the launch of our V2. And we'll divide our roles into 3, where there's analysts that basically put content out. They write and they earn tokens for doing so. The curators have a very important role of what's good, what's bad. They upvote the good stuff so it flows to the top. The bad stuff floats to the bottom or just becomes invisible. The curators are responsible for that. And then moderators will sit there like judge and jury if any of the community or anybody points out any shilling or collusion of any way. So we're really excited about this new system. Everything's based off of rewards for your actions and involvement in the community. Points put you up on the leaderboard. The more points you get, the more cure you get each week. It's a weekly reset. So you could be the all-star week 1 and not even be around week 2 and then come back to life in week 3. So really cool system. Everything's based on the new reputation system. So you do bad stuff, you're going to get dinged. And if you get dinged enough, then you're out. And obviously, the whole goal is to just, it's like reputation in life. It takes your whole life to build it. It takes moments to destroy it. We're taking that same mentality with ours. We're going to have an amazing decentralized launch pad at some point in the near future. I think we've got this on a roadmap for the beginning of next year, where some of the projects that review high enough could come to the launch pad if they'd like. We've got multiple revenue sources. We'll have premium subscriptions, getting in and finding out stuff early. We will have private reviews are our key. So we have thousands of projects that come through us that want to be reviewed. Some of them want to do it privately because of sensitive information. So we have a whole setup for that so they can pay. And for that, advertising, obviously, Launchpad we talked about. A little bit of our roadmap. All of this stuff's coming out right now, version 2, the reputation, cash rewards are coming. And then Q3, we're planning our launch. Our go-to-market is increasing analysts. We've got 70 some now. We want to be 100, 200, 1,000 more, building our communities and partnerships, looking for trends and just creating some buzz with some KOLs. Our tokenomics real quick, 500 fixed supply. We've got a big old chunk for community rewards, as you can see. So, come check that out. We're giving away a lot of tokens to the contributors. And, here quickly, our team, that's Mark, the architect, AJ, the other co-founder, and myself. And then we've got our development team and a lot of our support team. And some of our, partners and advisors already. And we're right in the middle of our round, which, is our private sale. We'll be going public soon. And, that's it. So hopefully I didn't time that, but hopefully that was around 3 minutes.
All right, don't worry. I'll let the community judge later.
Okay.
Daniel, yeah, I saw the logo here, but I think we need a little bit of introduction because this is how we actually met. So here goes the story, and then we can go back and forth. Because actually, we met you because of your unique selling point. When we were launching our private sale or public, I don't know, remember right now, it happened 2 years ago, and like you said, crypto that's like 40 years.
Pre-sale, right? Pre-sale for sure.
Yeah, and basically we stumbled onto a review, which I was not in agreement with. So I was like, okay, I need to talk with you guys. So I added Mark and I was on LinkedIn because I'm a LinkedIn guy. Still one of those guys who lose all but good social media. And I approached it like, hey, Mark, I strongly disagree with certain points, but I see validity in it. Do you mind if I just change the perspective? And he told me that was pretty cool in the sense that, yeah, I mean, our contributors do their best they can, which is it's perfect. The due diligence has to be there, and it's not so simple because they probably review a lot of projects and getting all the grasp or all the mentality. It's also a fault on the project because sometimes you have to know how to speak to your audience. So we saw there it's like, okay, we have not clarity here, which is interesting. There's no ill doing. And then we had a cool AMA where I got thrown with a bunch of reviewers, and I was like, oh wow. I was like, okay, so this is happening. Perfect. So it was not like I want to say it started being a little bit kind of like, okay, I gotta go into defense mode. What do they know? And then it started becoming kind of like more of a fluid conversation of us here in Bricken explaining what we wanted to the outcome. We did have some mistakes. In maybe in the white paper, we had a number that were wrong and offset everything if you wanted to add it all. So we're like, okay, yeah, I mean that's on us. And then from there, we actually started talking a lot with Mark, and then some of your contributors actually have been writing a lot about us. We have been exchanging a bunch of feedback. So I think just from my selling point of view, you guys, I think we had a very nice engagement, which actually it was rough because at the beginning we were like, okay, you're selling this, you got to stick to your guns. No, please,
it was
there,
contentious in the beginning. It was contentious. You came in CEO of a beautiful company, and you were upset about what some people said, and analysts wanted to stand their ground, and I was just sitting back, just watching. I didn't know where it was going to go, and remarkable. I mean, you handled it gracefully. You handled it so gracefully.
Thank you.
And in the end, it was beautiful, right?
Yeah,
it
but
worked out.
that's the important of it, kind of like in this field. I think we all a little bit in the defense wall because we go through so many projects. I stumble onto so many RWA projects now because I like to very much see what is being built and why, and you never understand what is the potential outcome. There's still a lot of shadiness, which is why I think platforms like your rock because it's kind of like bringing light to people who actually want to invest in something that somebody else when they do diligence and it's just not a KOL without disrespect to the sector on YouTube saying, hey, this is the next one. Some people like to be more educated and say like, I like to know what I'm investing in, and this is a detailed way. Somebody who did the due diligence. So on that, I like it, of course.
Well, I'll say one thing on your behalf. Um, there's a very, very clear line between people that can take constructive criticism, which obviously there was a lot of constructive criticism thrown around, and projects that listen and projects that, not just listen to orchestra, but listen to the community and then react, right? I mean, you went back and you're like, okay, we're going to make those couple of typo changes. We're going to change the site a little bit. You know, that to me, I'd invest in you as an investor just because of that. Just because you can take somebody telling you, hey, maybe you're not right, or maybe this isn't the right way, and you listen and you change things, and that's admirable, right? I mean, right off the bat, that gave me tremendous faith in your vision and guiding this company, regardless of what it is you were doing. So, for everybody out there, you got an awesome guy at the helm there for Bricken.
The details is all that matter. But yeah, I mean, we were. I don't know if you were still in the building phase, were more secure. But yeah, I've been following a lot of creator. I thought about contributing, but time wise, I was like, no, I have to spend too much time. But does not mean that every once in a while I jump in and I'm like, okay, let me check what he's doing. And it's a nice wiki of people reviewing, and obviously you cannot take everything 100% on it. It depends on the reader, but I've
Yeah.
been stumbling onto great reviews, and I'm like, okay, the level is quite high. And then I started adding some people on LinkedIn, and people, I'm not gonna say not educating the other way, but I'm saying like I think you have been amassing a lot of great profiles who are reviewing and writing, and they love the space. And I think that's very powerful. Actually, I think you have a powerful tool in that sense because you can move uh, know-how, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, on that, let me just say for anybody that's listening out there, we have a lot of people that talk due diligence, right? Due diligence is this loosely used term in this space, and to me it means something like that Bricken does. It's a whole nother level. You're checking the founders out, and what other did they rug and do this. We are more of a market research. We're a composition of maybe people that are VC investors and people that are just NFT guys or GameFi guys or whatever it is. So it's this beautiful collective voice of experts and non-experts, right? Oh, I like the color of their website, or I love their logo, or things like that, all the way down to some really detailed tokenomics evaluations. So you get the whole gamut, but we are not due diligence, but we do add this layer that I haven't seen anybody else add. And we're very excited about what we can do with Bricken in that regard as well. So anyway, let's throw that
Okay.
out there. Just
So since the growth, obviously you went through because when we did our pre-sale, we were in the bear market. Now we are probably entering a better phase. Let's call it. I wouldn't call the bull market yet. What are the trends that you're seeing? Like, what is the aspects that you're looking into? Is it more of a narrative of AI tokens? Is it RWA? What is your current perspective and change that you see
oh
in the
man,
past? Why not 12 months?
what a big open question. Okay. So narratives go. Listen, RWA, and I hopefully we can circle back in a little bit because I'd like to break that down a little bit because I think RWA and DPIN, they came out of nowhere. They've now encompassed so much stuff that there's different verticals in RWA, and I don't know that most retail investors realize it. I think if you say RWA, they think real estate, or maybe they think somebody's tokenizing a plane or something. But there's so many flavors that you have that you can do in real world asset. AI, I'm pretty hip on AI, but to be honest, I'm involved with an AI project, and I was listening to somebody very, very smart, and they told me that 90 some percent of the projects out here for AI have no idea how expensive it is to do what they're planning to do in their pitch decks and what they're trying to sell the public. And they may sound like they're great on paper, but at the end of the day, AI is expensive. Buying the CPUs you need to do this and all the infrastructure, it is expensive. And I think most of these projects just are just a deck, So I'd be careful with AI. I love anything privacy narrative. I think that's always going to be key. Listen, we like crypto. We like transparency with privacy, right? They're not contradictory. So that's I like that play. Um, and RWA is big for me. I'm a big fan of this space. One of my highest conviction plays is a project called Red Belly, which is coming out of Australia soon. So very very bullish in your sector. I mean, I'm heavily invested in this vertical. So
Yeah,
I guess
funny
that's
you
my
brought
quick
Red
take.
Belly. I have a call
What's
with
that?
them in 8 hours. I have a call with Red
Oh, do
Belly
you?
in
Oh
hours.
man, love those guys. We got
Yeah.
to get us connected. Yeah, I love them. Love them.
So the situation is, I told them, it's like, hey, I'll adapt to your time zone, and then they're like, okay, perfect. So whatever happened, it's my 2 a.m. here, and I'm like, okay, I'm never saying
Okay.
we want to get it. But it is a great. I mean, yeah, the RWA narrative. We can talk hours of that. But I like what you bring into the table, which is kind of like, we're having these classes, but not the taxonomy behind it. Kind of like RWA. Not everything is the same, right? Or deeping. Everything is like suddenly decentralized. It's already fragmented, and people are like, oh, that's deeping. And it's like people taking advantage of some words, and it's like that's
Oh
not
yeah,
fair.
labels, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the one of the most amazing ones I stumbled the other day was RWA in a deep in infrastructure powered by AI, and I was like, that's it.
Oh, that's a $2 million raise right there for you. I don't know.
Yeah, they were raising. And I was like, okay, so marketing works a lot, right? But I mean, it's interesting. So, not a fan of AI. I do agree that cost or everybody hooking up to ChatGPT and sending a deck on AI is not fair. So, what do you think? What do you think this market needs besides platform like yours? What would you like to see to evade those kind of like things that are gonna blow up time sooner or later?
That's a great question. So, just another little bit of background. I'm 54. I work on, I've got my other jobs. I am involved in two or three other companies as well. So, for me and Curator, this is my giving back project. This is my, like, if you could pick one thing you wanted to work on, almost like your charity project, for me, this is it, because Curator's doing great for the space. If we could, at the end of the day, I would like to think that a project like Bricken, not now, obviously, we don't have the weight, but a year or two from now down our roadmap, that a project like Bricken could come in, go through the process you went through, and that's all you have to do, because you either come out of that process and you look good and you have the badge of honor with the Curator logo, and that's anything everybody needs to know about you, or we just grind you into the ground and nobody needs to worry about investing in you because you're just going to take people's money. So I feel like we're a force for good. I call us one of the good guys. We're out there trying to call out the bad players, and it's a bit of a catch-22, because you don't want to spend all your engine. We're this decentralized engine we have to create content. We call it proof of curation, one of Mark's beautiful ideas, and we don't want to run our engine chewing up on these bad projects. So we kind of have, like, if we get one or two reviews and they're bad, they're done. But as we get more and more reviews on the good projects, they float up to the top. The confidence score comes up, and confidence is very important with this. So that's, you search for a pizza restaurant and you get back a 5-star review with one guy, or you get back a 4-star review from hundreds of people. That 4-star pizza restaurant's 4-star. So we think, from confidence, number of reviews, the curation process of V2, we're going to basically not have to have all this shilling and BS KOLs out there that are getting paid to push stuff that's junk. And, just come to one place you can trust, right? And the projects like Bricken stand out, period. That's all there is to it, right? The quality stuff stands out. And if it's not there and it's not standing out, don't invest in it. So,
Making follow the chaos. This is not paid advertising. I gotta
yes,
put
yeah,
the
no,
money if
no.
but you bring something that I'm starting to see more from a theoretical point of view. Like Web3, we have all these kind of like hidden degens who don't like the corporate jumping in. But I've been reading or stumbling upon some blogs and some videos that I sometimes like to see what the deep mind thing is, and they're always bringing the trust foundation. Is like, how can you bring trust on chain, because I do believe what you're saying. You have the Yelp reviews, and maybe nowadays it's accessible to buy a farm somewhere else, so that kind of like neglects the whole point of organic, trustful foundation. And now people are stumbling with the ledgers. Yeah, you can create multiple wallets, but maybe you can start really understanding who the person is, what are the transactions, and that should generate value. And I think it's a very interesting conversation that is being funded there, because right now you can literally buy anything. You can buy calls, you can buy newspapers, you can buy everything. So we're all kind of like in the space. So I do support kind of like that narrative that you got. And I'm gonna take it now for future conversations. Proof of what did you say? That was actually quite cool.
Proof of curation.
Proof of
So you
curation.
create it, and
Interesting.
then we're adding the curators to like validate it. So
All right.
it's a beautiful balance of power. Mark, I can't even begin to download it to you, but Mark has got this in his head, and he gives us little bits and pieces
I like
every
it.
now and then. And yeah, it's amazing. I like what you said about trust, Edwin, because I heard Mark speak at, I think it was maybe Wow Summit or maybe the Vietnam show, but he talks about, you go to Twitter, which is where everybody gets their information, it seems like, and you get all of these retweets and all of these hearts. That doesn't mean a damn thing, right? I mean, I could go out there and post wind moon, and everybody's
That's
tweet.
it.
It means nothing. It's not trust. So we probably have to redefine that word in this space. What does trust mean? And that's what we're trying to do very transparently, is build something you can trust. And you can only do that with decentralization, because there'll be bad characters, or there'll be a little farm. And we've had this, I'll be honest. We had a little network of guys that would post something, and then two or three others would rotate and upvote it and try to make it look important. They didn't last. They got slashed, they got kicked off the platform, and it's their loss. So we are going to build this. I don't like the word trustless, because trustless it's got a bad connotation, but in crypto it means something different. But we want to build this. I use the word trustless, decentralized platform that you can believe in, right? If you see it there, and 10 people have said this is the real deal, it is, because those people that are telling you this have skin in the game. If they're lying to you, they'll get their tokens slashed. You have to, I should have said it, you have to stake tokens to be in these roles. And if you've got $5,000 worth of token stake so that you can be one of these voices, and you start telling people stuff that's not true, well, guess what? That stake's gone, and you're gone. And, so there's skin in the game, and it takes skin in the game to be trustworthy. And we put other layers on top of that. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting topic you brought up, and one that we could probably just talk a whole session about is what is trust and
Absolutely.
how do you build it.
I like it.
So,
You like actually build like a social protocol, because tech it's important, but it's more the outcome of the person, which is not just click, tap to earn, or anything that we're seeing. So
yeah,
it's a nice twist of using that technology for something that can actually be applied for interactions between us. So I like it. Oh,
I mean,
I'm gonna
all
I'm
these
gonna study
guys are
more of
making
this.
money
Like,
that way. They
yeah,
make
of
money
course.
off of impressions, right? We're making money. We're going to reward people off of validity, proof that something's good, right? Or bad. They can flag it, but that's a whole different model. And just a background, Mark comes from building this major. He had minute videos at like 1.7 million subscribers on YouTube. So another buzzword I like to throw around is right to win. I think we've got a right to win. Mark has a right to win. AJ has a right to win from just past experience, to build something genuine with that can go viral, that can be everything we want it to be. So very excited about that.
Amazing. So regarding that, for example, if somebody wants to onboard, what is the process of the user journey for them to become part of the creator? What can they expect? How can they interact with you? So I mean, what is that? What can we
Yeah,
expect?
yeah. That's it's interesting timing. Our current system it was a beautiful system where you had to write a few reviews, you got peer reviewed by the other analysts, and you had to be voted in by the other analysts. So to get on Analyst Island, you had to get voted in, and I think that works very well. We're changing that with the V2, where anybody can write. So what we'd like is to have, some of your community come over and write about Bricken. We'd love that, not just from our word of mouth, but bring your fans over, let them write. And if you write, and you don't get any points for writing. So they're what we call like a community writer. They'll come over, they'll write. They won't get any points, which will translate to tokens. But if they start to get upvoted by the curators, then they do earn. And if you get so many upvotes on something you wrote, then that basically says that you've got a worthy opinion, whatever it is, and then you can become an analyst. Then you'll be invited to become an analyst. So you kind of just write, it's out there. If the curators think what you did was cool and upvote it, then now that's your key to becoming an analyst. And then that's when the rewards open up because you get paid to write, you get paid if you get upvoted. We've got a really cool, it's a gamification. There's a lot of stuff going on, but we've got a whole gamification that goes on for these points. And then the points every week translate, there's so many points in a given week. And if you have 10% of the points, then you get 10% of the tokens that come out that week. And then Monday morning, 0-100 UTC, it all resets and everybody starts off a new leaderboard. So
What one thing that stumbled that I captured from your tokenomics quickly that I got a glance is how big the community reward pool is. So that's kind of like
yeah,
standing out. It kind of makes sense with everything that you're trying to build, but I was like, oh guys, the treasury is yeah, and teams 7%. I was like, wow. I gotta say, I have not seen that many projects like that. I say not even
you know,
Bricken had like that, and we had low account, but it's very interesting, of course.
yeah. So I address it. So right off the bat, the community rewards, right? They're going out to all the roles. People don't realize this, but we've got it mapped out for 10 years. We're not just trying to throw something out today. So those rewards actually last 10 years. So it looks like a lot, but then when you think, okay, well, how many do we need for 10 years? It's really not that much. And we're working on a whole new emission system. And the percent of the team and the treasury and the market, and I won't address that. That's, it is what it is. We're working on it a little bit, but the community rewards, we get that. And I just don't think people realize that, that's a long road. I mean, I think that looks healthy when you see a project that says, okay, we're thinking 10 years down the road. Now, little inside news here is that we've got some really exciting stuff with our tokenomics. We are going to be burning probably about 2 to 4% of our supply that came out initially. So one of the things that Mark got me hooked and got some other guys hooked in the beginning was talking about how many Bitcoin Satoshi mined, right? Bitcoin came out and he was a miner and he pocketed a ton of Bitcoin. We're kind of the same way with our proof of curation. The analysts are writing. There wasn't a lot of analysts in the beginning. There was 10 or 20 of us, so accumulated a lot of tokens. So some of those tokens are just going to get burnt. We're almost 2 years old, and when we hit our 2-year anniversary, we're going to probably burn the first 2 year of the treasury we collected. I don't have the final numbers, but we're going to take 500 million down to about 450, like that. And the other beautiful thing is we are going to transition away from our token as reward for emissions, which is pretty big if you're a token holder, right? You don't want to see this huge emission schedule. So we're going to work in USTD rewards. We're working in allocation rewards from different projects and other incentives. And if we do this right, our goal is that we're going to take the last 5 years of that and just chop it off and burn it, because we'll have other rewards that will come in to incentivize the machine to work. So that's another 100 million right there. So now we're down to about 350 million. And there's also a little stake, if you didn't notice, a 10% reserve. That's, we're looking, that's a strategic partner. If Gate or Binance comes along and wants a piece, we've got to have some tokens. But if we don't use that, we're going to burn that. So napkin math, today, we think we might even be able to get down to about half, 250 million tokens. So, but we don't want to burn them till we know for sure. But that's the game plan. You heard it here. It's a little early, but that's we got a meeting tomorrow. We're going to finalize this, and then that'll be news for everybody. But that's where our head's at. So
yeah, thanks for
thank you for
sharing
bringing
what
that
they
up. By
call
the way,
the alpha.
that's
Yeah,
wasn't expecting it, but I appreciate that. That's just some genuine diving in. So great stuff.
yeah, but you generally answer. So thanks for that. I think my community it's gonna. I already read a Twitter. Mark Shaw, one of our early already said like, hey, thanks for bringing the project. So I mean, this is what we
Yeah.
build, no confidence, and in that sense. So now with not more about the tokenomics the project. when did you decided? When did your team decided that building the protocol or proof of creation? When did you decided that you needed a token? How that journey has been for you guys?
That's one that's going to be difficult for me to answer because um, one of the most beautiful things about our project that I don't say it as much as I should have, but because it's 2 years now. But Mark and AJ bootstrapped this. They didn't come out with a deck with an idea on paper and say, "Hey, we want to do this. Give us some money." These guys went out and built this. They built the MVP, and Mark himself went over the top like 100 tokens. I think he's written probably a few hundred reviews before, just in the MVP, and they put this out there working. And we're not on chain, so the rewards and the tokens we have are all kind of, I call it Web 2.5. It's in a database. It's off chain, but it's all transparent the same way. You can see every single transaction, edit, everything is transparent. But that's just a huge difference to build this. So I can't really address how that beginning started because I didn't see it. I came in like maybe month 2 after the MVP was launched. Mark was out pitching it, came in, and then that's when I've been involved. And but I just had, that's one of the main reasons I jumped. I was like, hey, if you guys are going to build proof of concept, proof of execution, and then ask for money, I'm on board, right? Because everybody
Yeah,
does it the other way. So
I I seen that, for example, in Web 2, it's harder to raise money with a PDF. You can still pull that off with the PowerPoint and maybe the connection and network. But I saw how in Web 3, kind of like it was way simpler. And I think that's why we also saw a lot of failures, because they would put all these flashy cars without remorse, saying, "Oh, I have a partnership with AWS," and it's like you're just using infrastructure. And we saw this kind of like big kind of like circus, which I think that led us where we are right now, because we, the great people, secure wrongly the money, and then everybody was like, "Oh, there's no more money." So I think I also believe that people should get invested once they get an MVP rolling, kind of like the first test case, the clients, because if
sure.
not, we're just gonna be building things that make no sense. And I stumble a lot
Yeah.
with Web 3, some things that I'm like, I understand what you're trying to do, but that's like 10 years in the making. Maybe it's weird.
Yeah. Well, bringing it back to what we were just talking about, AI, I mean, you can be assured that 99% of the AI projects are on paper. They don't have these proof of concepts. They're not spending the money they need to spend to build what they're talking about. So that's interesting. I would tell you tonight, it's just a little side note here. Unfortunately, you didn't get to talk to the man. I always say the best person to be talking about Cyrator is Mark, and then hopefully I'm second best. But you got me because Mark was. It's a little late for him, and we actually got into a pitch competition. And I was waiting to hear Mark, and I must have listened to 15 different projects pitch. Maybe one of them had an MVP out. All of them were theoretical. And I'm just sitting there going, wow, I wouldn't invest. Wow, I wouldn't invest. I wouldn't invest. And then we come out and we've actually got the platform out, 2 years old. And now we're in funding. I mean, how many 2-year-old projects are just, in funding, right? You don't find many. So that's a testament to the quality of what we hopefully we're delivering. So
Absolutely. Gonna share a backstory to you, because when we go through our funding, one of the VCs says like, "You're making money, you're boring," and I was like, "Take that as a joy." It's like, "Yeah, of course, take it as a joy, but it's real. You have no idea how many projects I see, and it's like zero money made. It's like just make €1. Like, don't say the token, and it's like that. You're selling, but make your revenue what you're doing." And I think this is something that I think we have a problem in this space, which is just like there's no business model behind it. It's just crazy and ridiculous. I think that's gonna affect us, because people in the Web 2, when they come and they ask the questions, they're like, that word don't make sense. And it's, yeah, I think so. Chapo to March, 2 years with bootstrapping, which is the way
yeah,
to go.
well, I
Hard.
want to throw two things out for you here. One, you just made me think of that little comment about boring. Just whew, memory just popped in. Probably dates when I got in this space. Like within a year of when I got in this space, Curve was coming out. And I remember listening to an AMA with Curve, and the two guys that were on there, the founders, maybe both founders or one founder, he said, "We want to be the most boring project in crypto that makes money." And that didn't sound sexy at all. I was like, I don't know if I want to invest in this. Man, I would be on a whole nother financial level had I invested in Curve back then. So, that's something to be said. And hell, I forgot my other train of thought on that. So we can move on. But I just, being the boring guy. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Sorry. One of the things that I try to bring to the table with the team is something I don't think a lot of other projects even they don't talk about internally, and they certainly don't talk about it externally, is raising money, as hard as it is the easier part. Building a model that makes money, that generates revenue, that makes money is difficult. And I'm hell bent on these guys every day. We need to generate revenue. Like, we don't want to be living off of a treasury, selling our tokens, right, to pay salaries. We want to generate revenue with our platform that makes money. And we got a token we're supporting with buybacks and burns and all kinds of other cool stuff. So that's also a big differentiator. So, look for projects that have actual revenue generation is a big key.
Yeah, perfect. So let's talk about before we jump into the final outcome of the conversation. Bricken and Curator. So we went from getting to know each other the normal way, which is reading the reviews, to actually securing a partnership. What are you doing for some of our projects? How do you see this happening? And obviously, RWA, we are in financial instruments, not the normal Web3. Our clients are not the normal Web3. So, can you give us a little bit of light on that?
Yeah. What a beautiful, beautiful relationship this is going to be. Way I see it is multiple win-wins across this whole thing. So, you just presented a project to us not too long ago that did pretty well on your platform. The trying to pull it, the hydro wind energy, HWE. We didn't get in front of that like I'd like to, but the future projects, what I could see is we review these projects. We invite your community to come review them. We invite the project's community to come review them. And between the three of us, our community and yours and the projects, we've got this beautiful voice and this beautiful picture that's the, like I said, the voice and wisdom of the crowd. And now, as your investors consider whether they want to put a little bit of money in it or a lot of money into it on your platform, they are going to be well informed, and it'll be the type of information that it's going to just be extremely valuable, right? It's almost like the cliff notes to due diligence, maybe, right? They're going to be able to just come some short reviews. I want to see tokenomics. I want to know about the team. What's the roadmap? So I see us, and I see, just being a layer in there. I don't know where we fit. I know you've got, your own team inside, but like a scoring and just an open forum wiki, as you said, for all the communities to come together and talk about the project. And hopefully all of the good stuff boils up and the curators are flagging the right stuff. And, so that's what I'm looking forward to putting that in place and whatever value that brings to everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it was Mark who approached us and said, "Hey, have you thought about this perspective?" And for us, it works marvelous because on our end, we just pass a due diligence on a KYB. Same about you can pass a bank account, but I cannot enter into the business model because I'm not crowdfunding. So it's kind of like it's a different form. I have to stay on the sidelines because regulation wise I must, and I like it, kind of like I'm a platform, a SaaS. I want everybody to succeed, but skin in the game would mean that I preemptively help others more than needed, so that can be
bad
a lot of
optics all the
work.
way around, right? Yeah,
Absolutely. So the approach of me sending or potentially clients coming to create, they're like, "Hey, I'm transparent here, please judge me." I think it's actually quite cool. I mean, I will do it because I mean I already went through it, but I didn't know when we were at the time. It was different. It was a random one. But I will also be like, hey, here's information. Here's who I am. Here's my team. Here's what we've been doing. Do you mind reviewing? And I think that's very solid. I think that's actually mm, I think it's a white glove approach, but also because you can start building trust. And I think my community will definitely agree. It's like, oh, yeah, look at that. They read, they like this, or not. Because if you get into that format, it can also be that, hey, I don't feel solid because whatever format, I mean, it could also happen.
I mean, that, we're talking specifically about something that, Edwin, you've already made the decision that you'd like to bring it into the Bricken infrastructure and put it forward. But there's also this and only you can answer this, how many hundreds of projects are probably approaching you, right? And it's really tough, and I'll call it top of funnel, to say what's worthy here. So there's also that we can do to say, hey, we'll take a look at these 5, and then from that give you 1 or 2 of those that we think are good, and then that helps you bring better quality projects with less effort to your platform for your investors. So I think that's
Absolutely.
another angle as well.
Gonna share just what you ask. It's like how many projects we get. You have no clue how many people come up to us
You won't
requesting
surprise me,
money.
but lay a number on me. What is it?
No, it's by the hundreds every month. Like literally, I'm a Edwin human being, and I go to Bricken and say like, hey, I'm looking funds for my idea. We're now cleaning, we're qualifying way better from just the approach. But at the beginning, we're like, yeah, but I'm also Edwin and I want money. How can that work? Like, not even a PDF. We have all of those. Or other ones saying, like, hey, I'm not a company. And it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah, maybe the DAO and all of that. That for us, for this right now, don't work. But we have a lot of ways like, no, but I don't have a company. I just want to have money. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. But it is like it is. So
Yeah,
yes, we got a lot of funny stories and interesting here, actually.
yeah. I don't know if we could make it so simplistic, but wouldn't it be beautiful if you could almost say to those 100 companies, well, you know what? Come over to Curator, and we're setting this up so the communities, it's not so like pie in the sky, but you could go and say, hey, they have a private review program, and we can give you a discount to that, make it very attractive financially, and it's cheap. Like $300 to get a private review is nothing, and you can make it even cheaper. You can your price will be cheaper than our retail price as our partner, and you can almost say, hey, for us to even consider you, you got to go do that first. Once you do that, then I'll look at you. So that alone right there will probably weed out half the guys that know that they're not going to make it past the litmus test. And then whatever does come out of it, you're just picking cream of the crop, right? So that's
Absolutely. So we're nearing the end. So now, before we go and ask the final closing remarks of the creator, today's what is it, June 18, 2024. Before year's end, what do you see, curator? And let's call it midterm, 2 to 5 years. What do you want to be?
um, well, before the end, we'll launch. We will probably have a lot of hype around the different roles and people starting to write and becoming curators. And then from curators, if you're really good, you can become a moderator. So I think for the next few months we launch. And then after that, the first 6 months is all about just building the game and the hype and the mechanics and tuning stuff. And going down the road, like I said, I hope within 2 to 5 years, we're a badge of honor. I hope any project out there that's worthy is going to be able to point to their ratings on our site and stand by them. Or we'll have an API where they can pull the listings in and the reviews. So almost like Google on the bottom's got your Google reviews. You have your curator reviews on the bottom of your site, credibility indicator, right? And to be a voice that people recognize, So that's what
Very
we would
nice.
like to be.
Absolutely. That's super nice. So now for other people to start finding out more about you, where can they find you, and what did you recommend them to get on board, either at your obviously pre-sale, which you can obviously say, or to become a curator?
Yeah, we'll just come on over to the site. It's very easy to look at. If we have a project that's listed already, you can just simply write a review on it. If it's not listed, you can request in our Telegram that we list it. We've got, we can just get anything on CoinMarketCap, just a click. Otherwise, we can go grab the URL and the logo and a description. We'll put it up for you because we know not every project's on CoinMarketCap. And it's really that easy, especially with V2. V2 is going to be like zero barrier to entry. Come in, if you got an opinion, write it. And if it's worth anything, it'll get upvoted. You're going to get tokens. You're going to start earning tokens. And at that point, then you're hooked. Then you're excited. You're like, oh my gosh, I can create content or I can upvote content and get paid. And that's the hype we're trying to build. And yeah, and if you want to participate in our pre-sale, there'll be a link off our website soon. Give about 48 hours, we'll have it out there. It's going to go through Pulo. If anybody's familiar with Pulo, I just talked to Shoban this morning. One man, awesome guys, Indian dev, built this little fundraising platform. Simple, connect your wallet, contribute, safe. Um, been doing it for 4 years, I think. There's so many VCs that use this. So just a down and dirty way to just raise money for something simple. So
Perfect. Amazing. So everybody, please go to Creator, give them a like to Twitter, share the community, follow them up. They're official partners of us. So skin in the game, yes, they review us, but also we're gonna start sending clients to
yes,
them because I think it's gonna be a trust foundation. So look more into the future as to who gets review, and then we'll obviously invite you again before year's end because I want to know how you guys are doing. Obviously, and the community get on board,
awesome.
and that's it. So, any final remarks?
Now, just thank you for having us, man. We're everything happens for a reason. That's what I believe firmly. And for us, the way that we told our little story and we came together, and in the end of this, not only did we help a project and it helped us, but now we've got a beautiful partnership where we both are going to be even better because of. Um, I couldn't ask for more, man. You're a class act, Edwin. Met you personally at Token 2049, which was awesome, and just from me talking about Bricken, I mean, yeah, just awesome. We are so happy to be partnered with your caliber of project, and you're just at the beginning, right? You guys are, first step out of the gate. You're getting ready to go explode. We want to be there with you. So it's just happy, man. Just blessed, grateful. Thank you so much.
Perfect, amazing. I cannot be more happy to close like that. Thank you. It's like the nicest
Yeah.
thing anybody from my team has said to me today. So I'm going
Oh
out with
man,
a
you're,
smile.
you're the best, Edwin.
I
Man.
get it.
Part of that team, damn it.
I'm done, guys. I'm done. I hate that. I'm just
Get
kidding.
a new team.
Uh, all right, guys. So thank you very much, Daniel. It's been a pleasure having you. Looking forward to all your great advances. And again, I really strongly invite my community to jump in and reviews because they have some great things. So before stepping in and believing in KOL, maybe by somebody who spent it a little bit more time doing their due diligence. So thank you very much for everything, and
Awesome.
it's been a pleasure having you here.
Thanks, man. Bye bye.